What's going on, guys? Young 46. Gonna give this month's virtual tour event at Congressional a go. I think I shot 16 under or something first try. Missed several putts that were pretty easy. I just was struggling to hit the ding when I was playing. So I'll give it another try here. I like to use it as a warm-up round anyway. Just kind of get me going before I play my ready goes. Alright, back pin's going to play a little bit longer, so I'm going to add probably a yard or two here. So I've got it playing normally at about 60, 69.5, somewhere around there. So I'll probably play this like it's about 71 or so. Okay, nice little kick-in bird here. Good places to putt from would be this side. Down below the hole to the left's not terrible. It's not great. Down here is pretty good. Up here can get a little tricky. So I think the right side's fine, even if you go a little bit long. And short is okay too. Alright, so tee's up here. We got a nice little tailwind here. It's going to play probably somewhere around 176, something like that. Should work out to be a nice little full 6-iron. I've got a ridge I can use over here, so if I do miss on this side, then I've got a little bit of leeway with the ridge. So I'm going to be a little more aggressive to the right side than maybe I normally would. Now, it's probably about where I would normally play it, so we'll move it over just a hair here. Biggest thing is we can't miss late. Gotta hit the ding here. Ow. Oh, let's see how much room we do have to work with. Looks like it'll be alright. Yeah, not great, but it came down, so that'll be fine. So we got a nice little uphill look at it. Let's see, get a view from here. I think it's pretty straight. You see some break from right to left initially, and then it starts to kind of come back. Maybe a little bit on this side, but not a ton. Maybe like right there. And from here we're seeing a different break. So when I see two breaks like that, it tells me I should be able to pretty much hit this dead straight and should go in. Yep. And again, that's just kind of the illusion between where the hole's at in relation to the ball. It's on opposite sides depending on your view. So when you get those, it's usually pretty straight putt. I think FMags did a video on that, so something to check out if you haven't yet. Here I think it's gonna be uphill 13, 14 feet.
Drive.
So wow, that was really loud. So uphill like 13 feet. Yeah, should play pretty good. It's not going to be a full 8. It's going to take a slightly less off of it. Because it's playing so far uphill, I'm not going to play as much elevation either. Not elevation, wind. So I'm not going to play as much wind. So I'm just going to take a little bit. It's really close to like 149. So right about there. Good thing. Should be a pretty good shot. It didn't take as much wind, even when I took a little bit off. But that putt's pretty makeable. Pretty easy putt there. Yeah, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. That putt I was going to ding. I didn't play enough. I wanted to play at the full 5.7. I just didn't go high enough, so I just missed dinged just to make up for it. So that's kind of a in-the-moment decision. Here we've got a good wind, we've got a right to left wind, we've got the right pin, so we don't have to be so aggressive with the tee shot. We can put it anywhere in the fairway and be fine. We can carry this dog leg because it's downwind, so there shouldn't be any troubles there. This shot, if we go short, we could catch a little ridge and it can get kind of ugly from there. So we want to avoid the ridge if we can. In terms of yardage, probably somewhere around 163. Play it safe, probably play like 164. Because it is uphill, you have to watch your amount of spin. You know, if I take less than full spin, I have to add a little bit, just because of height-wise, if we're thinking about it, it's uphill. So it's going to come in a little lower. So I kind of have to choose which path I want to take. 163 is kind of an awkward 6-iron for me, but I'm going to go ahead and hit it anyways. I guess it's not terrible. It's you know, somewhere around 94% or so. Oh, got some room over there, so it should be fine. Haha. Well, there's a luck element. Bad shot that got rewarded. I guess that's golf. Alright, here we can carry the entire. We can go through the trees as long as we have full backspin. And we're just going to take it right at that bunker to the right of the pin here. Ooh. I've got a little bit of wind. I gave myself a little bit of room, so shouldn't be anything to worry about.
That's in the garden spot.
Okay. Short little wedge in here. Shouldn't be too tough of a shot. Now this one, even though I'm hitting a wedge, I'm going to hit it neutral. It's going to have a little bit of spin on it still. So that means I have to think about what happens when it lands on the green. And on this hole, you know, let's say I land it, you know, right here, pin high. It's going to come back, and it's going to come to the right. A, because there's a little bit of slope, and B, because the wind's left to right. So I've got to think about that. Ideally, I want to land this probably, we'll say 2 yards long. 2 yards long should be fine. Maybe a yard. Again, we're trying to think about where we want to be on the green. So we got about 76. We're going to go a little bit past the pin.
Very nice shot.
Yep. Now if I would have landed that short of the pin, probably would have had a 5-6 foot putt coming back up the hill. Still very makeable, but if you know your wedges and you know the greens, you can certainly get it a little tighter. Alright, so easy bird there. Good win here. Oh yeah. Alright. So I've got a couple different options. I can play it safe and kind of play it over here, if you're looking at the right mini map here. Or I can cut the dog leg off a little more. Into this tailwind, I know that I can carry that dog leg with no problems whatsoever. We'll call it dog leg, a cutout maybe? Yeah. I don't necessarily coin that a dog leg. It's not really that sharp.
That's a huge drive.
Alright, so we've got interesting yardage. Probably got like 193. So 193 is low enough where if I hit my 4-iron with full backspin, I'm not going to be able to hit and stop it. It's going to release somewhere back here. So we can say, okay, we're okay with a 25 foot putt, or we could get froggy with the 5-iron and try to carry it. So this is where course management comes into play. 600, got an okay round going. If we 2-putt and make birdie, it's not the end of the world. So to me, that says hit the 4. So hit the 4, try to land it, you know, somewhere near pin high, and just be okay if it goes a little bit past it. So that's what we're going to try to do here. Pulled it a little bit. It's safe. Again, I don't foresee it just hitting and sticking here. So it's going past. Makeable putt. Not bad. So it's right in that 25 foot range that I talked about. We can see here we've got left to right break. Yeah, I like to give it a little initial read where I think it'll go. I think it's somewhere around there. It might not be enough, but it's a good starting point anyway. We can see a little bit more break here. I'm seeing a little bit more break. Maybe somewhere over there. Okay, let's go with that. That looks pretty good. I hit this about 22 feet maybe. I can't get the right. There we go. Oh, that's too much. Reset it. Okay. Dinged it. Hopefully we read the line right. Looks like we did.
Drained it.
Alright, so good go of it to start with here. So this wind, we can see it almost looks like it's a tailwind, or is it a headwind? I don't know. When in doubt on a hole like this, let's look at the hole itself. So obviously we have the hole here. There's a ridge line that runs all the way across the green here. If we say that that's a tailwind, and it turns out to be a headwind, then we end up falling short. We roll down the slope, and we've got a 30 some odd foot putt uphill 11 or 12 inches, or 2 feet. I don't know what it is. Just throwing numbers out. Let's say we play it as a headwind and it turns out to be a tailwind. We probably go somewhere back here. So much easier putt to putt here than it would be there. There's not a ton of break into this putt if we go long. So I would always say let the green decide. If you're in between there, look at that and let it make the decision for you. So again, we're a little bit uphill, and it's not going to have as much wind effect because we are uphill. Let's see. So we're going to play it probably like 183, 184. So we're going to hit the 5. No. Luckily the wind wasn't playing as much, so it won't kill us. But what it did kill was my distance. So we're left with that putt. Oops. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. I wanted to play at 184, I hit 182. So, mental mistake. So we're left with that 30-some foot putt we talked about. Ah, that stinks. Alright, so we see some break right to left, but because I gotta hit this thing pretty firm, so this break from here to here is probably not even gonna matter. If it does, it's gonna be really negligible. It's not even gonna move it that much. The break coming up the hill, obviously again we're gonna be hitting it hard, so it's gonna be about, I don't know, throw a number half. Let's say half that break. So that tells us this putt's gonna move. It should be fairly straight until it gets up to here. It's going to move a little bit, and then it's going to come back. And so we need to adjust the name somewhere over here. I don't think we need to play a ton. If anything, it might be a little straight. So we'll play it fairly straight, but not quite straight. Yeah. A little bit of misread. Hit it a little hard too. A little too firm there. Ah, ruined the perfect round already. Little mental mistake. I played the wrong distance there. This hole, got to be careful because it's downwind. Downwind into this, we can go in this little area right here where the fairway starts to tighten up a little bit. So I'm going to play it off the left edge of the fairway. Hopefully ding it. It should come right back in the middle. Pulled it a little bit. And again, I got some room with the wind to miss left. This is just going to be a little punch shot into here. It's a little tricky. What I've noticed with punch shots into this hole is you have to give it a little more than what you think because of the uphill. So I'm going to probably hit this to land. Probably land at 36 yards or so, something like that. Maybe 36 and a half. Did not want to pull that. That's alright. Not much to this. I'm just going to ram it, take out all this break. Alright, we got a par 5 with the tees pushed up here. So we should be able to reach in 2. Yep, no issues reaching here. Not going to kill me again. I've got the wind working the opposite direction, so nothing hurt. Just lost some yardage on it. So we've got somewhere around 195 or so to the hole. Again, this is going to put us in an awkward position with clubs because we're not going to be hitting something full in, and it's uphill and it's downwind. So we need to land it somewhere on the front, but we've got to be careful because if we land it here, it's just going to hit and stick. But worst case, we have a pitch. It's okay. If we go past the pin too much, we're going to have a pretty tough putt. In terms of our green, we have a ridge right around this area right here, and it goes back to the hole, so it's going to slope left to right. So if I'm going to miss, I can miss left to right. Another thing that ridge is going to help me do is when the ball hits it, it's going to kind of deaden it a little bit, so I can be a little more aggressive into that line. I don't think I'm going to hit the trees or anything, so I don't foresee any issues here. Should just be able to fire away. Okay, good thing. I kind of grazed it a little bit. Hopefully the hill deadens it. Yeah, it deadened it pretty good. Okay, got a nice putt at it here. A little right to lefter. You don't see a lot of movement here. I usually don't mess uphill. I'm pretty aggressive. I like to be aggressive on my uphill putts. We're seeing a lot more break here. When we go to the backside, we don't. So I'm going to go trust the reverse view here. And because I'm going to be hitting it so firm, we're going to be taking out a lot of that break. So I'm going to hit it about 8. This should be okay. Okay, could have been an 11 under front 9. 3 eagles there, were it not for the silly mistake on 7. Okay, this hole. So if I miss long here, there's actually a little ridge. There's a little ridge back here, and I'm going to have a lot of spin, so it should hit and spin back a little bit. So I can be aggressive long. Because this is downhill, I'm going to play a little bit more wind than maybe I normally would, because it's going to be in the air longer, which means the wind is going to have more of a pronounced effect on the ball. Let's see, in terms of our distance, somewhere around 200. 200 should be pretty good. You know what? That was way off here. Way off. Hold on. I don't think that's right. Something doesn't feel right anyway. I think it's probably more. Yeah, probably somewhere around 200 anyway. A good thing there. Like I said, the wind should have a bigger effect on it because of the elevation. Not bad. Didn't go long. Although going long wasn't bad either. So this putt, I don't see a lot of break. We see, if we're looking closer to the club, we see left to right, and then we see right to left. Could have hit this pretty firm, and I don't think we have to worry about any of the break actually, unless I be goofy and push it. Pretty similar to what I had. Same kind of problems actually. The last time I played this, just silly little straight putts that I couldn't ding. Unfortunate par there. Goofy par. Very goofy. It's about as easy as it gets. Ah.
That's in the garden spot.
Alright, so this is a good pin. Into this tailwind, I shouldn't have to worry about it releasing, so I can probably go right at the pin. I've got like 208, which is one of those, you know, do I take a little bit off of a 4 iron and play less backspin? Then we start going into the realm of how much is it going to release. 3 iron, I'm going to run into the same type of issues, but I think I'm going to go with the 3 over the 4. Anytime I can go to a hole with full backspin, I feel more comfortable. Should get a little kickback towards the hole here. So that's going to be, I believe, left to right downhill. So a little left to right downhill here. It's a tricky one. I'm gonna play it the finesse in. I know I like to ram them, but I'll put a little more on it just to ensure it gets there. You see, it doesn't have a lot of break from this vantage point. Maybe like right there. But from here we can see this side breaks a lot more. So maybe like over here. Right there. Okay, let's run with that line. Managed to hit a ding. Ah, putt on 10 still eating me up. Silly. Such an easy putt. This hole, because it's downwind, I can carry this dog leg right here. As long as I put full backspin, we don't have any tree issues. Didn't want to pull it. Might end up in a rough. Oof, close. Very close. This shot plays about 3 yards longer. So we're going to add 3 to what we have. That's about 117-ish. So 117 for me. It's going to be about right there. Missed ding, but it looks like that's okay. Yeah, it's the uphill side, so it's worked out well. Had I dinged it, would have been even further right. Not much to this putt. Of course, I said that on 10 and missed it. Alright, par 3. We've got some room behind the pin. So anything I run beyond the pin is going to spin back a little bit. So if I'm going to miss, I want to miss behind the pin. Distance works out pretty good. Pretty good distance here, where I should be able to hit a 5 iron and just rip it. My only thing, if I put full backspin on this, let's say I do land short of the pin, it's going to spin back a lot. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go with like half back and just play it that way. Ooh. Don't move. Right there is perfect. Go a little past. Oh. Didn't get as much backspin because I used less spin. Now, had it hit there with full backspin, we probably would have had a 9 or 10 foot putt. It really likes to go down that hill right there. Not a lot in it. I'm gonna hit it. It's a little over 5 feet. Alright, this shot, you know, most of it's just about finding the fairway. You can see it really gets narrow here. And the tees are up, it looks like. I'm assuming. Yeah, it certainly looks like the tees are up. So it's tricky. If I misding this a little to the right, I think I'll be fine. What I can't do is misding early. We are about to put that theory to the test. Okay, so it's fine. Didn't necessarily want to do that, but it worked out. So this shot right here is probably going to play 126 or so. If I'm going to miss, I want to miss to the right. There's a ridge back here. So let's say I land my 9-iron right here, which is 4 yards long. It should hit that ridge and then shoot back to the cup. So we want to error on that side. Let's see where we're at. It's pretty good. Pretty good. 125 in. And we erred to the right. That's okay. I don't think we're going to catch that ridge, will we? Yeah, a little bit. Didn't quite catch it all, but enough to knock it pretty close. Again, one of these putts with very little movement. You can see there's very little movement from both views. So I'm going to put it around the outside of the cup, and we're going to hit it about a little over 4 feet, about 4.5 feet here.
Solid putt.
All right. Fun hole. Not a fun pin placement. This hole always seems to play, the ball's going to go a little more left than you think. So with the ball going a little more left, I'm not going to hit this shot 348, 346. So I'm going to play it well to the right here, just to give myself plenty of room left.
Oh, you crushed it.
And you can see it drifting pretty good there.
That's in the garden spot.
So we aimed all the way to the right, and it moved pretty good. Let's see what we got here. Like 197. 197. So we're gonna hit a 4-iron in. Short left here. If I'm like somewhere around here, I have a good uphill putt at it. I won't say good, but I have an uphill aggressive putt at it. If I end up back here, I've got to hit it, 20% on a 15-foot scale and play a ton of break. So I want to be careful. If I leave it hung up here, that's a big right to left putt. So it's really important here. Big approach here. Okay, so we've got about 197 in. Oh, I did not want to pull that. Stop. Not bad, but we left ourselves above the hole. So even though it's a short putt, it's going to be a snaky little putt. Well, haha. Boy, we got very lucky. Very, very lucky. So we see a little bit of break. It's not a putt where I feel comfortable going outside the hole. Just because if we look in this grid, we see no movement, very little movement. So if we stay right on that grid line, we should have a pretty straight putt here. And I'm going to hit it like it's 4 feet. And if I miss, it's going to be terrible. I almost didn't want to pull that. Yeah, if I miss that putt, it's off the green, most likely. Good tailwind would have been perfect. This is reachable. Still is technically reachable. But we have to skirt as much to the left as we possibly can if we want to reach it. Oh, no. I think it's okay, though. Yeah, not bad. It cleared the hill. That's the reason why we want to go left. Really cuts down on the distance. If we can carry this bunker in a tailwind, you can carry the close bunker here. You don't try to carry the far one. So you can cut it and catch this little ridge right here, and it shoots it down just a little bit. So let's talk about our approach. The green slopes left to right. So anything that lands on this line right here is going to run back here, or it's going to land here and then roll off the green. So we have to think about that. More importantly, if we land in this bunker on championship greens, it is extremely difficult to get up and down for birdie. So we don't want to be here. So if we happen to miss, let's miss late. There's a little trough down here, a collection area, and it'll be fine. So that's where you have to lose a little bit of course management in how you're swinging. I'm not hitting a lot of dings, so I can't say I feel 100% comfortable trying to go for the pin. Because it's uphill and a headwind, I can't carry it. So I've got to put a little bit of top and hope to bounce it up, which obviously if I'm putting a little bit of top on it is going to affect how far the ball's going to move. So I don't think we're in a position to where we can be super aggressive here. And you can tell it's just a big bailout swing. Definitely didn't help myself where I put it. Told myself to miss right and just botched it, basically. So I have very, 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 very little room for error here. Yay. Well, let's see. In terms of distance on what we're working with, it's probably 37 to the pin. 37 to the pin, and I've got about 3 yards to work with, so we want to land this about 34. Somehow land this 34 yards and get it to stick pretty soft. So 34 yards out of 30-40 sand for me. It's going to be a little over 85%. Oh, a ding would have been nice. And very pleased with that. Very, very pleased with that. And if you've ever, so the reason why that deadened so quick, if you've ever been down here and you've had to hit a pitch shot, or even if you're 6 or 5 yards off the green, you've tried to hit a chip, what you'll see is this is pretty elevated and it'll hit right here and roll back. Or if you hit a pitch, you have to add about a yard and a half to get there. So that hill deadens the release that would have happened had it been flat.
Solid putt.
I was hoping for a tailwind. We could carry that. But we got to lay up here. 285 to the edge. So I want to be aggressive, but I don't want to be too aggressive. I mean, I have plenty of room to work with if I go short. And I have ridges and things of that nature that I can utilize. So I'm going to lay back just a little bit. It's an aggressive tee shot, but it should be safe. Or it's completely not safe. Little deep, but this is 20-25 out of here, I believe. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. If I would have landed, like right here, it's 20-25. Working for scores here. Didn't make it easy on myself. I should have just laid back a little more. So we've got 144 to the pin, which is a lot in 40-50 rough. My 8-iron is going to carry somewhere around 134-ish, which would put us right in this range, which is short. It's just a very difficult position to be in here. So I'm gonna hit the 7, but I'm gonna lay off of it kind of big. Oh wow, Jesus, that's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Blew a good opportunity here. Man, that's very frustrating. Very frustrating. So we've got about 34, 35 yards in here. I just need to get up and down. I think when I punch this, it's just going to sit down, so I can be fairly aggressive with this shot. Yeah, it's not too bad. Should be a kick in. 3 eagles on the front, and then not blowing it here. All right, lovely 18. Good old 18. I want to be aggressive here. It looks like the tees are pretty far up. So I should be able to carry this somewhere around there and be perfectly fine.
That's a huge drive.
Okay, so we've got short yardage situation here. Downwind, downhill. It's probably going to play like 110, somewhere in that range. In terms of wind, probably going to play it about, I don't necessarily want to play at 10. This hole just seems to not move as much. So the ball just doesn't quite come off, especially when we aim towards the water. So that's kind of a safe line. It might go right, but that's okay. Let's hope that's not the case anyway now. Should be an easy birdie. Man, I hate to say 18 under is a disappointing round, but it is slightly disappointing after making those eagles. Definitely 19, 20 under. 20 under is the leader right now. Definitely could have been up there for sure. We had the botch putt on 10. Mental mistake on 17. Just hit it too far. Let's see what we had. Played the wrong number here on 7. So just 3 mental mistakes, 3 pars. Unfortunate. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed. It's been the first round of April's virtual tour event at Congressional.